Hey everybody, welcome back to CoronaChat. Today is Tuesday, May 12th. It's Caitlin. And this week on CoronaChat, we're sharing tips for how to stay safe as your community begins to reopen, right? So as we discussed last night, this is not because coronavirus is gone, but rather because we're trying to figure out how to rebuild some semblance of normal life as the pandemic continues, right? So each of us as individuals needs to make good, smart decisions to help limit the spread and help keep ourselves and those around us safe and healthy. Right? And as our communities start to reopen, as far as we can tell right now, we're going to need to keep up our social distancing and general safety and hygiene precautions, right? So this means staying home when we can and limiting unnecessary travel. And when we do go out, we should make sure that we put on a mask or a face cloth covering, even when we don't feel sick. These masks help protect us if other people are sick, but they also protect other people from us in case we were exposed and didn't know it. We just have to make sure that we're wearing our mask properly, right? So, let's see if I can do this and not mess up the microphone too much. But so the mask should cover our nose and our mouth, right? So like this isn't going to work, just my nose, anything like that. So I want to have this over my nose and mouth. And once we have the mask in place, we should leave it in place, right? This is because if you're wearing a mask and you come into contact with someone with COVID-19, the mask will collect all of the virus particles on the outside part here, right? So you don't want to keep pulling the mask on and off because you run the risk of infecting yourself, right? So if I'm like pulling this down and pulling it up, you see how this part folded in, now it's in my eyes, right? Like all of that is going to get virus particles onto my face and infect me, right? So when I take this mask off, I want to try to grab it by the straps as best as I can and kind of pull the thing away from my face and take it, whoop, and take it all off in one fell swoop. And I'm holding it by these ties rather than grabbing the front of the mask and lifting it off, right? If I've got one of those masks that has loops, I can just grab those loops and kind of take those off. But again, the trick here is making sure that I don't touch this front part of the mask, which may be contaminated, and then I don't wipe that all through my face, right? So let me set that aside now. Now, just because you have a mask on doesn't mean that you can suddenly ignore that 6-foot rule, right? So remember, these masks catch most virus particles, but not all of them. So you still need to observe social distancing to keep yourself safe, right? So in general, try to keep 6 feet between you and the nearest person. If you need to pass by someone, it's okay to be close for a moment, but move by quickly and don't linger. If you're exercising and you want to do that with an exercise buddy who's not someone you live with, you want to have more space. Right now, the evidence we have suggests you may need to be at least 15 or 20 feet apart. So, go out to a park or something and stay apart. And that leads to our next point, which is that most importantly, if you're going to exercise with a buddy, do it outside. Transmission of the virus seems to be much more likely in indoor spaces than in outdoor spaces, right? In indoor spaces, we know that the air is kind of recirculating, so any virus particles stay trapped in that room with you. Versus if you're outside, those virus particles get spread out into the broader environment. Plus, you'll be getting plenty of fresh air and sunshine, which is all really welcome after all of this time that we've been spending cooped up indoors. So it's a good idea to carry a small bottle of hand sanitizer or hand wipes with you if you can. And this way you can disinfect your hands after you touch surfaces that other people have been likely to have been touching. Things like doorknobs, countertops, all that kind of stuff. Gloves are also an okay option if they make you feel better, but then you need to change your gloves frequently. If you just wear the same pair of gloves all day and touch all the surfaces that other people are touching, then you're just cross-contaminating things with your gloves. And it's the same as if you did all of those things with your bare hands and never washed them, right? And if you're wearing those gloves all day, if at some point you have to scratch your face or something like that, now all of those particles that you've picked up on those gloves, you're getting on your face, right? So if you use gloves, you need to change them frequently. And so it may be easier to, do hand sanitizer or disinfecting wipes. When you're at home, soap and water is fine. Soap and water is actually great and maybe better than these disinfecting gels and wipes, but it's not very practical to just carry a bar of soap around with you when you're out and about. So wash your hands frequently at home, use that disinfecting gel when you're out. And that's our show for tonight. So tomorrow night, we'll continue with more tips on how to adapt to our new normal. These are strange times, but we're all in this together. So stay safe, take care of each other, and I'll see you back here tomorrow on CoronaChat.